At 305. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
All right. I'm loving it, baby. I know the Dolphin Nation is loving it after a 33-10 dismantling of the Carolina Panthers, man. Coming to you live, baby, from beautiful Sports Grill here on Bird Road, where we are undefeated. That's right, 4-0 here at Bird Road. The place was packed. We were having some fun. Well, I mean, how can you not have fun in a 33-10 game? You know what I mean? So, wait a minute. Hold on a second. So, Tua can't throw deep. Well, you got your deep pass last week, right? Threw a couple deep passes last week. Oh, no, Tua only beats bad defenses. Well, isn't this one of the best pass defenses in the NFL? Did he not beat him? Did he not go 27 of 31 for incompletes, 230 yards, and 1 touchdown? Oh, by the way, did you get the stupid throw? No, you didn't, right? Because that was one of the things that I kept hearing all week. Well, he's got to eliminate the stupid throw, this, that. He's a young quarterback. You got to give them time to grow into the position. And Tua has grown into the position, is growing into the position. He is not the problem for this football team. He is part of your solution with this football team. It was a lot of fun to watch, man. What I mean, I think we said at the beginning it was going to be a rout, right? Didn't we say that at the beginning? Well, it was actually a rout, man. That was awesome. It was a rout. It was fun. This is fun to watch. And they made him a passer. And as I told you, you can make Cam a passer and you will end up in the win column, because more often than not, Cam Newton is not going to pass the ball on a consistent basis. He just can't do that. He's not that kind of passer. Now, Tua is a passer. That's why he's 27 of 31, and Cam Newton is 5 of 21. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's not back. So, it's just one of those deals. Nicholas Rowley, thank you, sir. A little love on the super chat. Says, fins up, Big O. Let the haters know to zip their lips. That's right. That's right. And by the way, once again, we bet on the Dolphins today. Okay? While we had so many people picking the Panthers, even Vegas, yours truly had faith that the Fins would get it done today. The way they're playing defense, and one of the things we talked about on the pregame show, you did it against Tyrod Taylor. You did it against Lamar Jackson. Cam Newton is no better than any of those guys passing the ball. He's no worse, but he's nothing special, just like Lamar Jackson isn't anything special passing the ball. You know what I mean? But if you take the run away from them, they become subpar because they're not passers. That's the difference. They're athletes playing the quarterback position. And the Dolphins had the blueprint against Houston. They had the blueprint against the Ravens, and they did it again against Carolina today because you were facing the same kind of limited passer. And that's exactly what happened. You forced him to become a quarterback, and his team paid the price because he's not a passer. It's a beautiful thing, man. It is nice to watch the Miami Dolphins get a victory. It's nice to see them improve. It's nice to see them win 4 in a row. I know it's not the season we all wanted. We all know that. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, man, in the end, they got it done, and that's really all that matters. You know, and they look good. Look, people lose patience with Tua, and you're wrong for doing that, and he's proving people wrong. People lose patience with Jalen Phillips. By the way, how's Jalen Phillips playing? He picked up they did give him a 3rd sack. So did I. I thought it was 2.5. They gave him that last sack. He's got 3 sacks. I don't even think Jason Taylor had a 3-sack day in his first year either. Everybody's developing, by the way. For those of you that wanted Chris Greer fired, you're wrong also. All the defensive players are developing. All the offensive players are developing. The only thing is the offensive line. And as I've told you over and over again, it's coaching. You fix coaching, your line might get a little better, actually. You might actually develop a running game. And having said all that, they did give up 2 sacks today. One to Burns and one to Hoskins. But overall, I mean, there isn't really a lot to complain about today, man. It's a pretty sweet performance by the team. Phillips, by the way, had 4 tackles, 3 solos, 3 tackles, 3 sacks, and obviously those are 3 tackles for losses in the process. Christian Wilkins, another young player that has had a really solid season, 5 tackles, 2 solo, 1 sack, obviously. So he was able to pick up a sack too. Agba picked up a sack also in this game. The team ended up with 5 sacks on the day. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to watch. How about Javon Holland has been playing so well, picks up another interception. I mean, you know, this is pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. It's fun to watch this team develop. Flo Gotta Go sends in a little love on the super chat. He says, I guarantee you Shad and Poupart will say Tua only had 1 TD searching for negatives to fill their narratives. Bank on it. Nah, I don't. Today is impossible to really pick on Tua. I mean, the guy was 27 of 31, dude. 27 of 31. Robert Triana, thank you, sir. A little love here on the super chat. He says, let's go Fins. Let's move the V chains. I like that. I like that. Manny Diaz to the Dolphins. Let's bring back Shula. So excited. Wow. What a freaking feeling. Let's all enjoy. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you as always. Appreciate it, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you out there to all of you. Remember, you can also make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. The links are right there under our YouTube channel here. You can send it in a Cash App or Venmo. And if you want to send in a question, Cash App or Venmo, you can do that there. You can send in the question, the comment, the insult, all of that. If you have a question for any of our writers when they come on, send it in through Cash App or Venmo or, of course, the Super Chat so I can see it quickly and I can get it to our beat writers too at the same time. So again, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. Some guy, by the way, reached out to me yesterday. He goes, "Hey, I want to send you $500 of Bitcoin." And I go, "Okay." He goes, "So what's your Cash App?" And I go, "Well, it's Cash Big O Show." All right, go ahead. And so then he sends me this thing and he goes, "Well, I want you to copy and paste this link and this and that." And I'm like, "No, dude, I'm not doing no copy and paste. You don't need to do that with Cash App, bro. It's Cash App to Cash App. What are you trying to do? Hack my phone? Huh? Is that what you're trying to do? Hack my phone?" He took it like an insult. He was like, "Well, I'm just trying to help you." And I go, "Well, why's your IG saying you're giving Bitcoin to everybody?" Like, these people are just, they're schmucks. They think so. The problem is that you sucker people into that kind of stuff. That's the problem. You end up suckering them into it, and they give it up. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, my brother. Be good. Okay. Tua would have had 2 TDs if not for the PI that was called. The shotgun snap needs work. Nice day at the office otherwise. Remember, that's the third center. So, you know, they played their fourth center today in Cameron Tom. So we're talking, you go from, something tells me that Michael Dieter will be hurried up next week. Yeah, he was close. No, he's playing this week now. After all of that, I think Dieter's going to end up playing next week. I mean, listen, how many people have 3 good centers or 4 good centers on their team? Nobody has that. I mean, we don't even have 1 good center on the team at this point in time. You know what I'm saying? Even though I like what Dieter did, but we can't officially say that he's a full-time starting center for the rest of his career. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Tua's on? Let's do it. Let's go to Tua. Tua is addressing the Meteors. Let's see what the young man has to say.
Team that we, kind of wanted to be at the beginning of this year. It looked like a lot of guys went out there confident, knowing what to expect offensively, defensively, and in the kicking game. And I would say this is the best that we've played complementary football yet. But there's still some plays, that were left out there on the field that we can fix. I just think it's, preparation throughout the week with the guys and feeling confident in what we got in, as far as the plays. So. Well, we understood that this was going to be a man team. They played a lot of man, and when they did play zone, we try to take advantage of, in cuts, crossers, things like that. So it's really what we expected and, what they showed us out there. I mean, that's so far back. I can't even, remember. We had so many guys that I was working with there. But I would say it started when we got Jalen, when Jalen came in, and started with OTAs, and then throughout the summer camp practices, and then leading up to this point. I just think it's, everyone in there just not listening to the outside noise, just believing in one another, and really just zoning in and playing football that we know we can play. It's playing complementary football. Well, I would say we're not proud of, taking a sack and getting us out of field goal range. Missed opportunities that the defense gives us, and we have a fumbled snap. All of those things, obviously we don't like them, and we don't plan for them to happen, but you got to move on to the next play in this league, and you got to continue playing 60 minutes. Any of the passes Jalen stand out to you, either communication with him or any of the places? I mean, I would say no. Jalen's just been in the right place at the right time. there's times where he gets covered and he's still open. So you take a look at one of the third downs that we had. I think it was 26, Dante Jackson covering him. I mean, that was really good coverage. Jalen still got open.
So I think I remember you saying earlier this year that you and Jalen had a lot of open communication on the sideline, including him saying, like, okay, this is how I want to run a route. This is where I want the ball. How has that developed over the course of the season, and how has that, I guess, made his current stretch possible?
Well, I don't think anything's changed up to this point. It's still been open communication with Jay. It's open communication with really all the receivers and the line. We come into the team meeting room as the offense, and really we go through all the plays, and it's open communication. Everyone's in there, the O-line, quarterbacks, the running backs, the tight ends, so that we can hear, what happened on the play, and then we can get it fixed. Well, I think he did a great job today for us. Towards the ending, of the game, towards the ending of the third quarter as well. Just coming in and not really understanding the offense, but really dialing in this week. Staying after practices, whether it was with me, Jacoby, or Jake. Trying to get the guys to stay after, run through some plays with him. I think he's a hard worker. From the couple of days that I've known him, and I mean it shows. So excited to see what the next couple of weeks can do. Next couple of weeks we can do with him. So. Well, I don't want to speak for Jalen, but to me, he's looked very mature coming into the league since we got him. Just seeing his development as a receiver, working against man, knowing the spots in certain zone defenses to be in, to get himself open. I think he's done a great job with that. So. Yeah, I mean, everyone's happy. Everyone's happy in the locker room, after a win. And that was a really good team that we played, in all three phases. So, we're going to enjoy this win. We got a victory Monday. So, thanks to Coach Flores. Then we're really on to the next game against Giants. All right, thanks, guys.
We're going to be joined by Alan Poupart in just a minute here. We'll talk to Alan in just a second here, waiting for him to check in. By the way, AH360, thank you for a little love on the super chat. He says, I'm worried winning out of the second half of the year over mainly subpar teams is going to result in this coaching staff returning. Maybe you might be right. What still stands out while they're winning, ladies and gentlemen, is you don't have a great offensive coordinator and you still don't have a great offensive line coach. So if Flo can't build a staff, he really can't be a head coach. So this winning really, in my eyes, does nothing. To me, it's more about watching the talent overall. For the people that were complaining about the personnel department, well, the personnel is developing. It's really only the O-linemen, and the O-linemen aren't developing because they have no coaching. So that's my opinion. We'll differ on this because that's the way sports goes. But that's the way I look at it. And Pro Play 77, thank you for a little love on the super chat. He says, Big O, looks like Flo has taken more control and involvement over the defense, and it's starting to show that. And he maybe also went back to what they were doing last year, and they were successful. And maybe that's what they're doing. Now it is time for the Sports Grill. Miami Dolphins. Oh, he's not there yet? Oh, Flo's on. Oh, okay, then let's go to Flo. Oh, it's all right. How long's Flo been on? All right, we can go back to Flo. We'll go back to Flo. I want to get Flo completely on there, so we'll get the whole. I want to get the whole press conference with Flo. So what we'll do is we'll get Alan Poupart on. You sent him. You got him set up already? Okay, so we All right. All right. Well, maybe that's probably what it is. He's probably watching Flores and then going to come on after Flores. That's probably what's going to happen. What he did to Tua is reprehensible at most, destroying young quarterbacks' confidence. He has to go. Big O, doesn't it look like the coordinators changed the play calling, or is it just the boys are getting more comfortable with the offensive playbook? Yeah, I think they're just getting more comfortable, and Tua's playing, dude. Remember, we had to put up with Brissett. But, slow thinking, slow reacting, slow delivery, jabroni brisket. And that's we have to take the jabroni brisket memories out of our minds because that really set the offense back. Now, if you look at Tua, the adjustments, as I've talked about throughout the show over the last week, is he's gotten better under chaos. He's understanding that he's not playing with a great line. He's understanding that he's got to make quick decisions. So he's doing his best to deliver quickly the football. And again, 27 of 31 is incredible efficiency. I mean, it's magnificent, the amount of efficiency that 27 of 31 is. It is hard. That is something that Cam Newton can't do. That's something that Tannehill can't do. That's something that Cam Newton can't do, that Lamar Jackson can't do. These are things, when you're a pinpoint accurate passer, that's what he is. That's why he's a real passer. Cam Newton is not a real passer. That's the difference. And this kid is playing lights out. All he needs now is to get the kind of offensive line, the kind of offensive line coach, the kind of running game that you need, and receivers that you can count on outside of Waddle and Gesicki. And again, to my, if there's one negative that you want me to find in all of this, I'm still not seeing enough Mac Collins. Why? I have no idea. I don't get it, quite frankly. We got him? All right. Let's get to our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupart. That's next.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins Insider Alan Poupart.
Legend that is Alan Poupart. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL, and you can catch him here a couple times a week with the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. And, of course, he's got that Spose hat on. So you got a Spose hat on. So what did you think about Flo's team today? Overall, pretty good performance by the boys.
Damn. Other takeaway, two plays. They take away the allowing DJ Moore to just run free behind the secondary and take away that bad snap at the end of the first half, and it's about as flawless a game as you can play. I mean, this is peak 2020 Dolphins is what I'm seeing right now. Every facet contributing and very efficient on offense, big plays on defense, and even the special teams. And I'll forgive Jason Sanders for missing an extra point. Because in this particular game, it didn't matter, even though at some point it will, but in this game, it didn't. And of course, now we're left to wonder where the hell was this team in the first 8 weeks of the season?
Yeah, and we'll probably never get a straight answer because somehow somebody decided to philosophically, no, we're not going to play that defense anymore. We're going to play this instead. And that's kind of weird because this has been so successful for them. In time, you're going to have the one play where obviously Byron Jones and X got burned for the deep ball. It's going to happen, and that happens with corners. They're going to give up some plays at times, but overall, playing this defense in the last month has also freed up Jalen Phillips to be a little bit more of what he is, of what we saw at the University of Miami.
No question. He had 3 sacks. They wound up giving him a half a sack at the end of the game because when I wrote my game story, right at the end of the game. At that time he had 2.5 sacks, and then I just looked now, and now it's 3 sacks. So good for Jalen. But no, you see him become a factor, and it's interesting though that it wasn't that long ago where I had a lot of Dolphin fans telling me, "Oh, they messed up. They should have taken Gregory Rousseau. Why did they take Phillips?" Well, guess what? Now we're not asking that question anymore because Phillips is a better player. That's made a big difference. Andrew Van Ginkel also is now he's back to 2020 Andrew Van Ginkel, whereas in the first half of the season it was like, well, recognize the dude. He looks like a complete jag right now. And now he looks like an absolute difference maker on defense. I mean, he was in Newton's grill throughout the afternoon, batted a pass at the line of scrimmage, clocked him right after he threw a ball. I mean, so everybody just looks better doing that style of defense. And I'm with you. I didn't understand it in the least. Why in the hell they went away from it early in the season? I don't get it.
Yeah, and you'll never get the truth from the coach because obviously he made that decision. And I'm just glad they went back to it now at this point because we're watching, and like all of us, no Brandon Jones, you're kind of, oh, man, that's a little bit of a loss. Kid's a great blitzer. He's physical. You've got a couple guys that if they get it going, you need Brandon Jones in there because he's a thumper too. But, they were able to overcome. And Javon Holland, how about that? An interception for the young man. He has continued to absolutely shine.
Hey, did you even notice that Brandon Jones wasn't playing? I mean,
no, you're right.
And that's a tribute to what they did. Yeah,
that's right.
No,
that's right.
Javon Holland's a star. I mean, I remember going back to training camp. He literally, by the time we got to Chicago for the joint practices, he had gotten 4 picks in training camp. And I'm sorry, I don't understand it's practice and all that practice. Right. That's 4 picks in training camp. You don't see that very often. And I had asked Flo at the time, like, is it maybe a thing with this guy? He just got instincts, and Flo was very quick to poo-poo my question of like, you're pointing out 4 plays out of 500. Well, that's great, except he's still getting the picks. And this is what you're seeing now. The guy's always around the ball. And was it a major coincidence going back to last game that after Christian Wilkins got the fumble recovery and he lost the ball, who was there to pick it up? Oh, Javon Holland. The guys around the ball. I mean, there's some guys who just have an innate ability to be that kind of guy. I don't want to throw out the name Ed Reed as a comparison, but Ed Reed.
But I get you. Yeah.
So the kid's a star. I mean, I know we criticize a lot of their draft picks in recent years, and with reason, but they nailed that one in big time.
Well, actually, now you think about it, most of the draft picks are developing. It's really only the offensive line, and no one doesn't play. But really, all that talk about the draft picks, we're all developing now, dude. Back a few weeks ago, we were worried about Jalen. People were still complaining about Waddle. People are saying, oh, Brandon Jones, not enough, whatever. And now you start looking at everything, and pretty much almost all the players are developing right now, except for, and they've shown a little bit of improvement, but the offensive line is really your sore spot right now for draft picks.
No question. And I will say this, and attack me all you want, but Jalen Phillips has been a really, really good player. He's having a great rookie season. Had a big day today. I still don't like the fact that you gave up an extra first-round pick to move up to get him. But having said that, yes, if we're judging him strictly by the player he is, absolutely. And it was great to see him be able to take that slant today and outrace the secondary. Well, I wouldn't even say outrace the secondary because there was a guy who caught him from behind, which I had kind of been told wasn't supposed to happen. But regardless, it was a big play, and the guy is proving more than anything else, so that it's not just pure speed, that he's making a lot of nice catches in tight areas. And I will tell you something else about Waddle that I really like lately is in training camp and early in the season, there were some drops. Way more than you'd like to see from a guy who's going to be like a wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2.
By the way, that many times early on, he's dropping the ball way too much.
Mm-hmm.
Not, because some guy, he's not losing it as much. Look at his stats, bro. You got to look at he fumbled. Yes, lost him as much. Fumbled a lot. He's got to stop that. And he wasn't something that was something that's normal for him. That was the aberration. He proved that was an aberration. Let me tell you something. Where if you want to keep thinking again, because we have, oh well, no, if you're not like catching 70-yard passes on a consistent basis, then you're not worth it. You're treating Waddle, and he's playing like OJ McDuffie. He's showing you toughness. He's catching every key pass. He's moving the chains. You throw to him in every key moment out there, and he comes through for you. We have to take a step back and realize that's a rookie doing all of that. That's a rookie that they're depending on to move the chains and to make big plays to keep the drive alive on a consistent basis. Big plays be 50 yards downfield all the time. Big plays are you keeping a drive alive and catching a key third down, a fourth down, those kind of things. The blowout that he had the DB on him and Tua placed it right there. That was a tough catch, and he went to the ground with the ball and did not cough it up or anything. I think we have to kind of reassess the way we're looking at Waddle because he's playing like a 10-year veteran. I'm just saying.
No, and I'm not knocking what I said about him and then giving up of the future first round pick. I would say that if it was anybody, I'm not. And I mentioned the long game today, which was nice to see. But no, your point obviously is very well taken. That you mentioned OJ McDuffie is playing like Jarvis Landry did as a rookie, where he's become your reliable guy. And to me, the most encouraging and impressive thing is I can't remember the last time he dropped a pass, and I remember getting out of training camp thinking, oh, I don't like the guy's hands. Dude's catching everything in sight now.
Yeah. All I know is that dude is clutch, bro. That dude's money, man. Money. And I don't think you laugh at that. You know what I mean? Once you get an offensive line in a running game that'll suck up those linebackers, and you get a reliable receiver opposite him that will put the fear in something to the defenses, and Gesicki work in the middle of the field, you're going to see Waddle make big-ass plays downfield. But right now, he has to play the game that he's allowed, which is this one right now, and they have to make quick decisions and quick passes, which means they don't have the time for him to get open downfield and wait for that. If not, the quarterback's going to get killed. So I completely understand that. What'd you think of the way they play defense? Did it remind you a lot of what you saw from the Ravens and from the Houston game?
Yeah, and it's what we've been talking about, that they've gone back to 2020 Dolphins, which is basically we're going to come after you. You're going to have to get rid of the ball quickly or make really quick decisions. And more often than not, you're going to have a hard time. And when you have a guy where accuracy is not his strength, like Cam Newton, he plays into that. And I mean, I know somebody was asking whether it was the Dolphins defense making Newton look bad or Newton looking bad on his own. I answered yes. It's a combination of both, and there's absolutely no reason that they should stop doing that. And there was no reason for them to stop to not do that from the beginning. It started to me with the first half of the Buffalo game is when I detected a change and a return to the full out aggressiveness with the way they were playing defense, which again was what they did in 2020. And it's the same formula they rode. And turnovers on defense, big special teams play here and there, and the offense being efficient and not turning the ball over. And today there was the one turnover, which was the result of that bad shotgun snap at the end of the first half.
I'm with you there. Alan Poupard joining us with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. As always, you can catch Alan here a couple times a week. Overall, what else impressed you out of what stood out to you in this game?
Well, I was impressed with everything from Tua was very, very, very efficient. I don't get all torqued up over the completion percentage because a lot of it was very short passing, but he still has to make those throws, and he was making them. So very, very efficient game from him. I thought the offensive line, for the most part, was solid. There were some breakdowns, and that's going to happen, especially against a team that has the kind of pass rush that Carolina has. I really like the way Philip Lindsay ran, even though his numbers aren't great. I think it was 12 for 42, but he shows a burst and a quickness to hit the hole that I don't necessarily see from others. I see Durham Smythe continuing to like become a favorite target of Tua's, and they're using him a whole lot, like leaking out, to the left of the formation, and then making an easy target for Tua as he rolls out. I like that. I really hate doing this, but the Wildcat was effective as much as I completely despise it and never want to see it again in my life. But they did get 2 touchdowns out of it.
For that red zone play inside the 5, that actually made sense. For the touchdown for Gaskin, that one actually kind of made sense the way they did it, because it does give you a man advantage at that point. So I kind of understand why they did it.
Oh, yeah, I do. I loved it in 2008 because it really was the reason the Dolphins went to the playoffs. So the biggest reason they went to the playoffs. But after that, it was like, okay, I've seen it enough. You have a quarterback for a reason, and if the guy stinks, that's one thing. But right now, Tua is playing really well, so leave him in there, let him do his thing, and leave the Wildcat alone. It's really hard to find a lot of things to complain about, or even to not be impressed with. I mean, this is a complete spanking. On the one play, I know a lot of my fellow colleagues were quick to blame Byron Jones for being the one who got beat, except I saw DJ Moore run right by X at the line where X is like.
Well, they were supposed to switch, and X didn't switch and went with Jones, and then obviously Jones switched and went with Moore, and then X is following him, and it's like, yo, dude, you were supposed to go the other way, and you didn't. But either way, whatever, bro.
It's a combination. But here's the thing, though, is that Byron Jones is a very easy whipping boy every time there's a long completion in his area. Because to me, I'm not crystal clear that it was on him as much as it was on X, and he's the one who wound up being closer to him at the time of completion. So everybody's like, okay, Byron Jones gave up the big play. So anyway, maybe it's me being protective of Byron Jones here. But even if it was on X, he did come back
when the receivers crossed, the corners. X didn't switch, Byron did. So somebody played the zone and somebody stayed on man. So
correct,
somebody
but we
made
don't know exactly. But the thing is, at the snap, you watch X instead of backing up and giving him a little bit of ground, he literally stayed in his spot and then had DJ Moore run right by him. And again, I don't know what the call was for those two, if they were supposed to switch, if they were supposed to stick on their guy. But like I said, X came back with a really nice pick, which was classic X, where he's basically looking straight at the guy, and the second the guy's eyes light up for the ball, he turns around, and he basically becomes a receiver and runs under the route. So pure classic X right there.
You said something that I find kind of interesting, and maybe this is where we're headed, my brother. Philip Lindsay, the kid, listen, while I don't think he's a featured back because he's too small, but he does hit the hole hard. And he plays hard. Are we seeing that maybe they go with a 1-2 punch of Lindsay and Gaskin from here on out, because Gaskin is such an exceptional receiver too out of the backfield? So I'm just wondering if this game kind of gave them a little bit of, you know what, maybe we need to carve out a little bit more of a role for Philip in this offense.
Without question, and keep in mind, this is a guy who joined the team Wednesday afternoon when he got on waivers, and then he had a walkthrough Thursday, had a practice Friday. I don't think there's any question. And they gave him 12 carries,
42 yards
after he joined the team. That tells you that, I absolutely do think it's going to become a 1-2 punch with Gaskin and Philip Lindsay, and I think Patrick Laird here and there is going to get some third down snaps because he's very reliable as a blocker and as a pass catcher.
Yes,
and I think it's bad news for Savon Ahmed in terms of his playing time.
Well, I mean, we've kind of seen the writing on the wall with Savon the last couple of weeks. I don't know what it is, but he's kind of been MIA. Hunter Long, were you surprised you didn't see more of him or any of him or whatever?
I saw him in the huddle several times, and I know he wasn't targeted once.
Right.
So I'm guessing he did the blocking.
I guess he was more for blocking, right? Yeah,
he did the blocking that Shane would have done, which makes me wonder, so now is he being considered a better blocker than Sethan Carter? And Sethan Carter is on the team strictly for special teams? I don't know. But no, I can't say I was overly surprised that he wasn't featured. I wasn't expecting, like, for example, Hunter Long being active and Noah Benogany being active, to me it's noteworthy because they're recent high draft picks who have been inactive, but I wasn't expecting either one of them to play really a significant role.
Yeah, no. Well, no, I thought maybe special teams. That's about it. What he was going to. As long as those two corners are healthy, Noah's got no shot at playing. It'll be next year for Noah. Once they trade one of those guys next year, then they'll put Noah out there and they'll find out if he can play or not. Probably. I mean, that's.
But it was on the field at the end of the game. It was on the field at the end of the game, by the way, because they had on that last drive they had Javaris Davis, Clayton Fedulum, Sheldrick Redwine was on the field. Noah was on the field.
The white flag defense.
They're what?
The white flag defense.
Well, the game's over and let our stars watch from the sidelines defense.
Hey, man, might as well. Why risk any injury? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Overall,
Yeah.
what the hell? So you got him winning next week now?
17.
You got him winning next week now?
I always had him beating the Giants. That wasn't the game that concerned me. The game that concerned me was this one here, and I'm not shocked that they won, but I'm surprised that they won as handily as they did.
Last couple weeks, the bomb guys got a couple bombs from Tua. This past week, the people that always complain, well, Tua's beating bad defenses. Well, apparently he played a pretty good secondary today and a good front seven. He beat them today. So I guess he's passing some of these requirements for some people out there.
Yeah, as long as we understand that, again, it's a team effort. And when Tua struggles, it's the entire offense that's struggling. And when the offense, Tua's the point guard. And today he was excellent at dishing out the ball. Not like, again, and I hear this, the knock on his receiving core, and I get it. I understand it. But it's not like, let's not pretend these guys are not getting open and they're not catching the passes.
No, he's got two guys. He's got Waddle and Gesicki. He's got two players with him there. You know, he's got another guy, but he's got another guy.
Tell me one play that Durham Smythe wasn't asked to make that he didn't make.
Oh yeah, no, he makes plays. No,
but
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And this is why, I mean, Tua was able to go 27 for 31, and he didn't do it by himself. He's the one who has to put the ball in play and get it to those guys. Those guys have to get open and catch it, and they did their job doing that. Yeah. And as long as they continue with that offense, I don't think with the current makeup that they have right now, it's not going to be an explosive offense. There's no way for that to happen because, as you mentioned here, the line's not good enough. The receivers, they don't have enough threats at receiver. But what they can do when they're operating very efficiently is do what they did today. And it's also going to require the defense and the special teams to kick in, and that's to be good teams, and that's what you had today.
Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Catch his work for all Dolphin fans, Sports Illustrated, and you bookmark that Dolphins page, and you'll get everything that gets updated there by Alan Poupart, who puts out about 15 to 27 articles a day. So it's plenty of reading material for you there at Sports Illustrated. Alan, as always, you're a stud. Thank you for taking some time, my brother. We'll catch up during the week.
You got it. Have a good one.
You got it. There you go. The great Alan Poupart, baby. Yeah. And by the way, we got a really interesting week coming up. The show is going to take a turn on Tuesday and Wednesday. So you might have to be up really early to catch the Tuesday show. Like 5 a.m. I am going to Cleveland on Tuesday. Okay, I'm going to Cleveland Tuesday and Wednesday. I'll be back Wednesday night. So I'll be back in the mix on Thursday. Cleveland on Wednesday, I'll be doing the show at probably 8 a.m. Will be the show. We'll do a couple of hours from the hotel in Cleveland, and then I'm headed off to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then I'll come back. I'm going to the Genesis concert on Tuesday night over in Cleveland. We're going to get off the plane on Tuesday and go straight to the NFL Pro Football Hall of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, not NFL, the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And we'll check that out. Then we'll go to the concert on Tuesday night and get a little sleep, wake up, do the show, then get the heck out and go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, then fly out and come back to Miami. So Tuesday and Wednesday will be odd hours. They won't be normal hours for the show. It won't be the same length also. Listen, man, it's the flexibility of running your own show. And at the same time, I got to live life, man. You know what I mean? We're only on this train one time in life, so you got to enjoy it and hope for, you can see, by the time you're checking out, you can say, you know what, I had a lot of fun. So I got to take advantage and go out to a little Ohio action. All right. So there you go. And if any of you are going to be out there, if you're listening to me in Ohio, would love to meet you, man. Whether it's at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or at the Pro Football's in Canton, but at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, we'll be out on that Tuesday night before and after the concert. So definitely you can DM me and tell me where to go, and I'll meet you guys at some bar out there in the Flats, right? I think it is. I think it's called the Flats. You've never been there. I've been there. I went to Cleveland once for I've been to Cleveland a couple times now I think about it. But I went out there for Marino's induction. All right, let's take a break. Hour number 1 is done. Hour number 2 is next. We'll take a quick break. Give me a couple minutes. Rest the voice. We'll come back. We'll go over some of the stats. We'll wait for Omar Kelly's report. We'll also have Flo's press conference for you. All of that in hour number 2 right here. Coming to you live from 4-0 Sports Grill on Bird Road, baby. That's the home for the Dolphin fan right here. Sports Grill on Bird Road, where we're 4-0. Back with more.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. Judge, you tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, a.k.a. the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, lollipop blow in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show on the radio, the top's where we gonna go. Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, we go. No one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewpoint statements or beliefs. You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
We are back, baby. Sports Grill here on Bird Road and 114th. Come on out, 4-0. So next week against those stinking Giants, let's go, baby. Let's bring it. All right, let's bring it. Tua today, by the way, 27 of 31, 230 yards and a touchdown. You wanted some bombs, you got some the last couple weeks. You wanted him to perform well against a good defense, he just did. You want him efficient, there he is. You didn't want the dumb throw, you got it today. I'm sure you two people out there that are disbelievers, it's still not going to be enough for you, but whatever. Myles Gaskin, 16 for 49 for 2 touchdowns. Philip Lindsay, the newest addition to the team, 12 rushes for 42. Salman Ahmed, 5 for 17. And I agree with Alan. That's why I asked him, because I think that's what we're watching. It looks like Lindsay and Gaskin are going to be like a 1-2 punch as long as they can milk it. Jalen Waddle was absolutely awesome, had the 57-yard catch, went 9 for 137 and a touchdown. Those of you that were complaining about, he caught 9 balls for 50 yards and all that, well, you got 137 today. So the kid did really, really well. Durham Smythe, 5 catches for 32. Mike Gesicki, 3 for 17. And Albert Wilson, 5 for 17. Those are some of your receivers. Isaiah Ford had a nice catch. It was for a first down, 1 catch for 11 yards. All right. What else do we have here? Also, fumbles. Tua had 2, didn't lose any of them. Ryder had 1, and it was charged to him, the bad snap. Overall, Holland, of course, also a fumble and a recovery. Let's see what else. Christian Wilkins, 5 tackles, a sack. Jalen Phillips, 4 tackles, 3 sacks today. Emmanuel Ogbah, 3 tackles, 1 sack today. So some guys actually came through big time. Xavier Howard, Nick Needham, and Javon Holland, all with interceptions in today's game. So a lot of good things that happened in today's game for the Miami Dolphins. All right, let's hear from the head coach, Brian Flores. He addressed the Meteors. Let's go over his comments, and then we'll get to your comments and your questions after that, and we'll also be joined by Omar Kelly. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I thought we played a complimentary game, starting with the pump block early. Thought the offense played well. I thought the defense played well. I thought the guys had a good week of preparation. I think that showed up today, and I thought our coaches did a great job this week getting them prepared. Thanksgiving week there's a lot going on. So I think Josh defensively, George and Eric offensively, Danny in the kicking game. I thought they all did a nice job getting these guys prepared and the players executed. I think, credit to the players, first and foremost. I think those guys are, communicating well, tackling well, executing. I think the coaching staff has done a nice job, putting them in positions to have success. But yeah, credit to the players.
So what do you attribute the rhythm that Tua got into and also the connection?
Preparation, practice. I think, we worked at it and worked at it and worked at it. And we've been able to string some good weeks together from a practice standpoint, and you're seeing that show up in the game.
Jalen Phillips had 3 sacks today. How do you assess his performance and his progress as the season's gone on?
Yeah, I think he's just getting better every week. I think, for a lot of guys on this team, we just keep working, keep trying to improve and get better every day. And if you do that, they're starting to see some of the fruits of that work. Jalen's no different. He's in here early, he stays late, does a good job meeting practice, meeting walkthrough practice, plays hard. He's selfless in a lot of ways, and oftentimes, we're running games and he's the pick guy and somebody else comes free. And today, I didn't know how many he had. I didn't know it was 3, but good for him, and obviously good for our team. I think it's, he's been open. I think it's, we've just worked hard to, get it to him. So whether it's protection, putting the whole thing together. I mean, it's not just, this isn't 7-on-7 where you just, go out there and beat somebody, and, there's a lot that goes into it. So, play call, protection, good throw, good catch, beating somebody at the top of the route. I would say he's been open, but there's always a few other things that happen on any given play. We're just able to execute today. I think that's a direct correlation from practice because we executed in practice.
On Friday, you mentioned how difficult it is for guys to contribute off one walk and one practice. What was the determining factor for you to allow for the wins?
I think Eric did a great job getting him ready to play. As soon as he got here, which was, I think it was Wednesday night, he was right in on the playbook. We had a small package for him. He was, the walkthrough on Thursday to practice on Friday to, have more reps and more walkthroughs, yesterday and even this morning. We felt comfortable with a small package of getting him in there. And I thought he did some nice things. He brings a lot of juice, a lot of energy. We're pleased to have him on the team.
Right, the whole Christian McCaffrey to 35 yards came in 92 yards passing. I'm sure all week you were staying up late, figuring out ways to stop them. What worked, and then after you exiting the game, at that point, you feel like they were limited offensively as to what they could do.
Well, look, I think that's a good team over there. I think obviously McCaffrey's a great player, and Cam Newton's an accomplished player who's done a lot in this league, and Moore and Robbie Anderson. I mean, they got a good team, and they've played well this year. So we knew it was going to be a challenge, and I think our guys executed. I think we had a plan going in. I think Josh had a good plan going in. Put together a good plan for us defensively. We executed the plan. We got off blocks. We made tackles. We got them in some third downs. They hit the big one early, which, they caught us in the blitz. They blocked it up, and they got behind us, which, happens occasionally. But I think our guys came back. We talked to them about playing for 60 minutes and, the highs and lows of a game, the ebbs and flows of a game. I think our guys kind of withstood some adversity, whether it was that play, whether it was the play before the half. I think, our guys just kept coming back, and, it was good to see that.
You were asked about Waddle and Phillips, obviously Von Holland also had a big play. Those 3 rookies seem to be just three players. How much confidence do you have in taking them to go out the way?
Yeah, I think all those guys, I think we're getting contributions from, a lot of our rookie class, a lot of our second-year class too. So, again, they just work and they keep working, and I think all they want to do is get better. All they want to do is try to improve. I think they're team first. I think guys are, supporting each other. And rookies are supporting the vets. The vets are supporting the rookies. And we just want to, those guys in particular just want to help this team any way they can. And I think, that's showing up in their play. Thank you, guys.
Another successful press conference by Brian Flores, telling you absolutely nothing. It is fantastic. I mean, as somebody said, he is the cure for insomnia. And there is no doubt about that. Okay. So somebody, I think named Humble, I think it was, right? Humble asked me if I still want Flo fired. And yeah, I do. Couple wins don't do anything for me. Last time I checked, he still can't find an offensive line coach, and he still can't find an offensive coordinator. And those are big problems on this team, even in this game. Okay. So, let's not get excited about that. I'm glad they're winning. I picked them to win. I betted on them to win. I have faith that they would have won. They have the defense to win this game, and they have a quarterback that can overcome the deficiencies around him at times. So I love what I'm seeing from some of these guys, but yeah, that doesn't. This game doesn't. See, I'm not. I don't think the micro. I think the macro. And that's the problem with some of you out there. You get a couple of wins, all of a sudden you forget that you still don't have an offensive line coach. You still have no coordinators. Come on. Like, seriously. You got to get like a real QB coach, a real offensive line coach, a real offensive coordinator. So, if you're going to ask me that question, he's made 7 changes on the O-line and OC in 3 years. What makes you think he's going to get it right next year? You know what I mean? So these wins do nothing for me. They do something for me for the players, because I kept telling you it's coaching, not talent. And it's proving me right as the weeks go on. All the players are developing except on the O-line. On the O-line, they're really not making the leaps and bounds that Jalen Phillips is, that Brandon Jones is, that Jalen Waddle does, that Tua does. You know what I'm saying? The O-line is not making any leaps and bounds whatsoever. And the offense, as far as I'm concerned, it's pretty good and serviceable only because you have Tua. If you had a lesser quarterback like Brissett, it would be torturous. And you're succeeding because Jalen Waddle's a badass. Jalen Waddle is a Pro Bowl type player in a real offense. Mike Gesicki is a Pro Bowl player in a real offense. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that part hasn't changed for me whatsoever. Tom Wilson, thank you, sir, giving us some love on the super chat. You know what? I don't know did I mention the last super chats that came in? Philip Montgomery, he says, it's time to drop Cam Flo. Let's respect our head coach. Big O, fins up. Again, Phil, did he find an offensive coordinator? Did he find an O-line coach? Does he have a good QB coach? Can he build an offensive staff? No, he's still Cam Flo in my book. Until he can build a staff, he's Cam Flo. And, it's just, again, see, some of you out there, you have a short memory. You're really not looking at the big picture. You're stuck right in the short picture here of the 4 wins, which is super awesome. But that doesn't change anything on the head coach. He's still just a jag. Big O, why don't we run up points like other teams? Well, hey, man, 33-10 is running up the score for us, bro. Victor, come on, man. Let's enjoy this one. It's 33-10. I'm good. Let's see. I had a social studies teacher in high school we used to call Mr. Sominex. Flores would actually make Mr. Sominex more interesting. There you go. Big O's a rocker. Too much drugs. Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly it right there. Big O Flo did very good his first 2 years. Let him coach his full 5-year contract before firing. Don't be a microwave society millennia. Tremolio, he can't build an offensive staff. Are you guys listening to me? Like, what makes you think he's going to get it right next year? I'm just wondering. What delusional state are you in, Tremolio? Please give me a reasonable explanation that says he'll find an offensive staff next year, because I'd love to hear it. I want to hear the comedy, because apparently, Tremolio, you're headed into comedy now. You're going to write now. Is that what you're doing? You're going to the Jimmy Fallon show? Is that what you're doing? Show me, please. I would love the reasoning why you would keep somebody around that can't develop an offense, that can't find coaches. I'm just wondering, like, what makes you think he's made 7 changes in the last 3 years? And his first 2 years, by the way, there were no expectations. And our coaches normally, Adam Gase, Tony Sperano, they do really well when there are no expectations. But once there's expectations, then it all goes to crap. So again, you're prisoners of the moment. You're really not looking at the big picture, because there's no explanation you can give me for that he'll build a staff next year and that he'll find a good QB coach and a good offensive coordinator and a good O-line coach. If he hasn't found it in 3 years, what makes you think he's going to get it right in year 4? That's the part I don't understand. No, Jimmy Fallon isn't comedy, but if Tremolio goes and starts writing for them, then yeah, they become comedy. Because apparently Tremolio has the answer on how Flo is going to solve something he can't solve in 3 years this offseason. Because I find it hilarious. I really love to hear the reasoning on that. He says, I'm tripping on 3 hits of acid. No, you're tripping on 10 hits of acid. Okay, you've smoked a bong of about a half a pound of weed. You've had a bottle of vodka. Okay, and that's basically what's going on right now. That's all. Love what the Finns are doing, bro. I love Tua. I love the players that they've got on this team. I think this can be a really good team, but not with that coach. That's all. They still need another coach. That's what I would do. Bringing him back is the definition of insanity. That's where, for those of you that wanted to fire Greer, and I never have, well, the one thing that I would pick on with that front office is you hired the wrong coach. Time to go get one. One of the listeners that was here reminded me of something that I said a couple of years ago, and he's got a great memory, by the way. He said, I said, I don't know much about Flo. We'll find out about him. Maybe he's the guy that you use to kind of bring along your expansion team, because basically you tore it all down to be an expansion team. So maybe he's the guy that you bring along for the first couple of years, and then you go and get the real coach to kind of finish the job. And maybe that's what it is. That's what's going on with Flo. Maybe that's what Flo is. Flo is Renee Latchman before you go to Jim Leland. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what's wrong? What's wrong is that you think Flo could actually find a QB coach, an offensive line coach, and an offensive coordinator next year. That's the part that's pure insanity on anybody's part. Okay? So you listen, I wasn't even going to bring this conversation up, but you guys brought it up. You asked me. I will tell you how I feel about Flo. If Flo does good enough, then Stephen Ross might be willing to pay double or triple for a good coordinator. Come on, Big O, you're being a little too stubborn. Yeah, John, what coordinator comes with 1 year left? What fantasy world do you live in, bro? This is what I'm talking about. This is like the fool that 2 days ago told me, no, you just, tell him to tank. Tell him to quit. Don't try. That kind of stuff. What was the other unrealistic thing that they wanted the player to do? That I lost it? It wasn't the tanking. It was something else. It was something else that was. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Some people would tell me, well, what they'll do is they'll bring Flo back as a DC. Like Flo's going to do that. It's the stupidest thing that fans come up with. And you really don't check yourself. You just wreck yourself. Because you really don't think about what you're actually saying. Think about this guy. Well, we'll pay him $10 million next year. We'll pay him more than we pay our head coach. For sure they'll come here. Nobody does that, dude. And an offensive coordinator, a good one, they don't want to come here for a year and then the head coach gets fired and then they get blown out and they got to move again. They're not doing that, dude. No one's taking a job with Flo. A really good coach will not take a job with Flo next year because he's in his 4th year and he underachieved the year before, and so now he's on the hot seat. Use your heads. Use your heads. Use common sense. Think about that and give me an example of where somebody was on the hot seat and they went and spent all the money and they saved their jobs. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. It's not the way they do things. Pat in Nashville, thank you for a little love on the super chat. He says Belichick is slightly more interesting than Flo because there's always a chance that a demon will put him down to hell at any moment. Thank you, Pat. Greg Sachet or Sash, I think. How's that pronounced, Greg? You got to give me the phonetic spelling because you know you're a constant listener. You're constantly donating. Thank you so much. And by the way, please smash the hell out of the like button. We got nearly 1,000 people on the chat board. Let's go, man. We had an 1,100 a couple weeks ago. Let's break that record, man. Let's go. Let's get it past 1,100. Greg says graduating from ugly wins to convincing wins. Fix the coaching, O-line, and offensive play calling, and we're a whole new game. I agree with that. You get the real coaches on this team on offense, and I really like this team. I mean, I like the team. I just don't like the coaching staff. And I've kind of been saying that for a while now. And it's kind of been proving right now that we're watching most of the players develop, only the O-linemen and Noah that he doesn't play, and Hunter that he doesn't play. That's the only people that aren't developing. Everybody else is developing. After all the complaining about the picks, they're all developing. Leon Fresco, thank you, sir. Also, a little love on the super chat. He says, problem with the season was hard games at the start and easy games at the end, depending too much on rookies and rookie coaches. Plan was bad. 10-7 means another year. Yeah, well, that's if they can get to 10-7. Would be nice if they can run the table. That would be awesome. That'd be fantastic, dude. AH360 says, get ready, oh. If the Finns beat the Giants and the Jets, 80% of the people on this chat are going to be calling for a Flo statue next to Shula. They probably will. They probably will. You know, and that's fine. Listen, man, it's I don't have to, you know, if one thing that I'm used to in 31 years of doing this, I'm used to sometimes, you know, giving the unpopular opinion, you know, and sometimes it turns out to be the right opinion, even though it's unpopular at the moment. And some people may not like it, but then they realize, oh, he was right. And yes, there are times when I'm also going to get it wrong. And you know what? If they keep Flo next year and he actually goes out and gets a real offensive staff, then I'll say, hey, man, I was wrong. It is what it is. What are you going to do? What's Chad going to say? I hope you make him eat his words. Big O for what he said about Tua. Chad. Oh, Shad. He's talking about Joe Shad. Hey, man, listen. Joe Shad is entitled to his opinion. He's not a believer in Tua. That's all. Well, that's all. You know how many people are like Joe Shad? There's a lot of people that don't believe in Tua. What am I going to do? And look, time will answer it all. Whether Joe is right, whether you're right, whether I'm right, whether I'm wrong, you're wrong, Joe's wrong. I don't know, man. We'll find out. You know what I mean? But I love what I'm seeing from the kid. Just keep him healthy. By the way, Oklahoma has lost Lincoln Riley. He is leaving to USC. So the USC job just got filled, and now the Oklahoma job is open, which is another school that the University of Miami will have to compete with. And let me rephrase that. It's another school the University of Miami cannot compete with because they can't spend the money, and they will not spend the money that Oklahoma will spend. Okay? So we'll see about the University of Miami too. They talk a good game. I want to see if they actually are willing to spend the money, because Mel Tucker at Michigan State has drawn the line in the sand and the floor. $9.5 million.
Did you hear about that story though?
What?
His agent, they leaked all of a sudden that NFL teams are reaching out to him. and then Michigan State ponied up $9.5 million.
No. There you go.
I mean, if you want your coach, you got to pay for him. Like, that's what you been saying all the time.
What do you think Kiffin's been doing the last couple of weeks?
100%.
He got it going. Slater called his agent and said, "Oh yeah, no, he'll take the job if he's offered it." And then the reporter reports that, and it's like, it's just to get more money out of Ole Miss or get a bigger job somewhere else. LSU.
Yep.
Right? LSU's available, right? Isn't LSU open?
Yeah, I don't think they've appointed
Right.
anybody.
LSU's not open. Texas is open, right? And they're joining the SEC.
I believe
Isn't it Texas?
No.
Which one's in Texas is open? Isn't there a job in Texas?
TCU.
Open? TCU, that's what it is. They're not joining the SEC. But TCU's another big school.
Yep. There's a lot of competition for
There's
those.
a lot of comp now, bro.
And then the schools that they're at anyways, like you said, with Kiffin.
Yeah.
He's just doing that probably to get more money from Ole Miss.
That's from Ole Miss, dude, please. He's not leaving Ole Miss to come to Miami. That's a bunch of crock. Well, it's not going to give him the money that he needs, actually. All right, let's do it. Let's talk to Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
There he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Omar Kelly. Oh, how about that? You get to write about a rout today, 33-10, an ass kicking of the Panthers, a team that most people picked to win this game. Actually, what did you pick the Panthers finally? Because I didn't notice it.
No, I picked the Dolphins.
Good for you.
I didn't understand. I'm not a betting man, but I was like, I kind of like that line. I just felt like if you really looked at, yes, the Carolina Panthers have a pretty good defense, and I thought it was going to be a good test for Tua. But if you look at where their weaknesses were, which is stopping the run, even though the Dolphins only averaged 2.8 yards per carry, and their red zone defense, I was puzzled at how bad their red zone defense was. I think they were ranked 29th in red zone defense, nearly allowing 70% for touchdowns when teams get to the red zone. I thought if you give Tua opportunities in the red zone, he was going to score, and that's exactly what he did. Plus, I'm not a big believer in Cam Newton's arm. I think the talent is the scrambling is there.
Accuracy is really.
I think his arm's dead. I think they were just jumping routes. They were anything outside the numbers. They were just jumping them.
Well, you know what? You might be right on that because he's never been an anticipatory thrower. So he always waited for a receiver to break because he's got a cannon that can still get it there before you get to the outside.
He don't got that no more.
Maybe you're right. Maybe the cannon is not a cannon anymore, and maybe guys can break on him. It was a great read by Javon Holland on that interception. That was
Javon's interception. Javon's interception, X's interception, 3 interception day. I think, we're seeing a lot of development from the young rookies, the Javon Hollands, the Jalen Waddles, the Jalen Phillips. Tua. I think, as I said to you the last time we talked on Friday, Tua just completed his rookie season. That was his 16th start. He's now got a 9-7 record, and if you cook, we gotta add up all the injuries and the slow starts and all the problems
and
he's had
and the crappiness around him.
Yeah,
and the lack of coaching around him.
Well, he's winning games despite the crappiness around him, which is proof that he's a pretty good quarterback.
You just repeated what I just said before you came on. That I said. Watching a Waddle and watching Tua have success, they're doing it in spite of the stuff that's going on around him, which shows you exactly what you just said. What I said, these are really good players that if they were on a real offense, holy crap, they would be. Like I said before, I get those 3 guys, I put them with Sean Payton, and they're all 3 stars. That's my
Put him with Sean. I don't know about all that, but I think that you've got a ways to go before you can have a respectable offense. It's going to take more playmakers. It's going to take more pieces. It's going to take a better offensive line, probably a better play caller, better position coaches. But I think the quarterback is not the problem. Is it as pretty as you want it to be? No. He's going to be a quarterback who scores on 11 play drives. He's a quarterback who dinks and dunks you to death until you get tired of dinking and dunking, and then he puts it over the top of you. He reads the field well.
You mean like Tom Brady did for a long time outside of the year he had Randy Moss?
It works. It works.
Tom Brady, right? It works when you have a Brady or Breeze or a Tua that are deadly accurate. That's when it works.
Imagine if he got a slot receiver. Imagine if he got like a Jarvis Landry like slot receiver, a guy who can convert chains and makes good reads in the middle of the field and splits and breaks and drops into zones. Imagine if he got like the Raiders have one. What is his name? Jesus Lord.
The little kid. I'm thinking. I know who you're talking about.
Renfro, Hunter Renfro, or if he got the one that Buffalo has. Imagine if he got one of those little slot receivers.
Beasley, the anti-vaxxer.
Cole Beasley. Mm-hmm. Those are, it's not as popular as the big play receivers or the big body receivers, but those are the kind of players that can carve you up like a little knife, and it's hard to get off the field when you have those type of weapons.
Yeah, but it also helps that they've got a monster line in Buffalo that gets to protect Jared Allen and Josh Allen and gives Beasley and everybody else time to go do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Having said all that, let's be a little fair now. The line has played a little better the last 2 weeks. Slightly. It's not the leaps and bounds of Jalen Phillips, but it is a little better. I mean, they're not giving up nearly as many pressures and sacks as they have in the past. And every once in a while, they're popping a run or two.
Trash. Still trash. Just horrible. 2.8 yards per carry. Trash. Like, I'm sorry. You couldn't run to save your life. Yeah, this is the fourth game. You've probably run for over 100 yards. Took you 39 carries to do it. Pass protection. You're going to still get Tua hurt. Trust me, I don't think he's going to finish the season because this line, Jesus, they're going to get somebody hurt. It's embarrassing how bad they are, and just because he can survive and make it through a game, that doesn't mean that they're actually good. Yeah, he's not running for his life like Jacoby is, but that's because he's got good pocket presence, and he gets the ball out of his hands quickly.
I mean, I've seen more progress out of them in the last couple of weeks than I have early part of the season. You don't want to give any love.
The penalties. The penalties today?
I mean, I thought the last couple of weeks have been the best part of the offensive line.
They went from horrendous to bad, and you're celebrating it?
Okay. Yes. What's 33-10, bro? How am I not going to celebrate it? You know what I'm saying? I got to celebrate 33-10 no matter how it looks to you. They didn't have nothing
to do with 33-10. They didn't have anything to do with 33-10. They are still trash.
That's not right. What are you talking about? No. They have to handle the Wildcat for Gaskin's touchdown.
Listen. Okay. Well, the Wildcat. Yeah, I mean, they ran to the edges, which I think is not a bad play. I really liked what I saw when Philip Lindsay and Ahmed ran to the edges, and I'm like, maybe that's this team's running style. Maybe they should be running to the edges and running end arounds. I mean, everybody's a scat back, so maybe it works. But this whole running up the gut thing, it ain't gonna work with this line. Like this line, there's nothing salvageable.
It's not a power line. Yeah, it's not a power line.
There should be a power line. They're not a power line.
Although I still think real coaching might save some of these guys. Not all of them, but because we're looking at everything else, Omar, and it's all developing. The only thing that isn't developing is Noah and Hunter because they don't play. But
No,
everything
no,
else
no.
is
This
developing.
line is not developing. Don't do that. Mm-mm.
I just said that. Omar, I just said everything is developing except the line and Hunter and Noah because they don't play.
Okay.
Everything else is developing. And that's why I'm saying it's obvious that it's coaching because the coaches on the defensive side, they're all developing. And then the two stud offensive play, three actually, Tua, Gesicki, and Waddle are all playing well. It's all O-line. And then the two young guys that don't have any starter spots in Hunter and Noah because they've got guys in front of them so they can't play. But outside of that, we don't even know about those guys. Really, if anything's getting exposed right now, more than anything is that your offensive line coaches are screwing it all up right now overall for this team. Right?
I mean, I think they're trying to be consistent with who they are. They want to be a balanced team, and I could respect that. It's not exactly going successfully well, but it's I respect what they're doing because they're staying committed to the run and they're putting themselves in 3rd and 6 and giving Tua a chance to convert if he can get protection, and they got to do a lot of max protections. I think it's working. It's doing enough to give yourself a chance to win the game, and that's all you gotta like ask your coaches to do. Players aren't making penalties. They're not lining up in the wrong spots. But that's a change from the Buffalo game. So, it's got to be a step in the right direction. They need better weapons. They need to stop having Gesicki out there on the boundary like he's a split end. 3 for 17 yards. Like, come on, he's not getting open against anybody out there. So they got to fix why is Gesicki not being used as an H-back like they used Preston Williams today? Like, explain that to me. Why didn't the tight end and the wide receivers swap roles? I just didn't get it.
But listen, why doesn't Matt Collins continue to play? I
let that. I let that go. You haven't let that go.
I'm not letting it go. That's one of your best players. That's one of your best players on offense. He's clutch. He's a tough sumbitch. I love Matt Collins, bro. I love his heart. I love his determination, his fight. These are the kind of players you want on the field. That's why Waddle, I was telling Poupart this. You realize that Waddle is playing like a 10-year veteran. You're treating him like O.J. McDuffie. Like when you need a play, when you need to move the chains, he makes the catch, he moves the chains. The guy is money. He's clutch. All right. And so things like that are impressive in my eyes when I'm watching a young guy like that have to handle those responsibilities because I don't think we give him enough credit. And Matt Collins, every time the guy plays, dude, all he does it's like watching Javon Holland. You know what I mean? Every time he plays, there's something happening. And Matt Collins
I let it go, man. I let it go. You gotta let it go because it ain't happening. It's not gonna happen. I don't know why, but hey, I stop asking because it's not happening. They have their role for him, and that's what he does, and that's it.
What have you seen from Jalen Phillips in the last month that his season has really gone on an upward spike? Is it the change of the defense? Is it going back more to Amoeba that is more his style of play?
They changed his role. He's now pass rush specific only. He comes onto the field, especially early, just pass rushing situations. And there were instances where he lined up next to Agba and was just a free rusher. And whatever the offensive lineman did, he did the opposite. He just tried to get to the quarterback. He wasn't assignment driven. He wasn't edge setting. He was just like, okay, let me try to free myself up and get to the quarterback. And it seems to be working for him. And, that's the one thing I do respect about this coaching staff. They figure out who players are and they try to put themselves in position for those players to make plays. It's the same thing with Holland. Holland wasn't playing that great early in the season, but as he grew, as he developed, as he started to blossom, more started to be added to his plate. And I think the same thing is going to happen with Jalen Phillips.
Give me the under the radar player of the game for you today. A guy that you were really impressed with, and maybe we're not talking enough about him. Who would that be, Omar?
Philip Lindsay. To me, if he doesn't block, if he doesn't provide that physical block at 5'8", 190 pounds on a blitzing pass rusher, that Jalen Waddle play, that Jalen Waddle 57-yard play would never happen. The guy comes in here on a Thursday, has one practice with the team, and is delivering 42 rushing yards on 12 carries. And a lot of that is in kill the clock situations where teams know you're running. I'm all for whatever it's going to take to jumpstart this running game, because I know, and I've said this to you, and I believe this, and I believe this in my heart. The only way to it's going to be good is if he has a running game. It does not work without a running game.
Of course, bro. He needs a running game to open things up. He needs an offensive line to buy him some time and buy some time for receivers so he can make bigger plays. All of those things need to change. I'm 1,000% with you. Now, I asked Poupart this because I felt it's going to happen, and he agreed with me. This game tells you that we're now going to have a 1-2 punch of Lindsay and Gaskin, right? Because that's what it seems like to me that is developing, and I would not be surprised if we see a lot of that for weeks to come now.
I would never say that with this team and this coach, because they are so role specific. It really depends on the opponent, and it depends on who they're playing. You could see the hottest player, just like Mac Hollins. You can see a guy just blazing hot. Duke Riley, just blazing hot. He plays 1 week blazing hot. You think he's going to have another role the next week, and then he disappears. And why? Because he wasn't a good matchup for this team. And that's just the way it is. I mean, who plays running back really depends on what type of defense the Giants play. If they're weak on the edges, you're probably going to see Ahmed play more. Miles, we had this conversation. When do you see Miles fall forward? Get you an extra yard or two. I'm not into it. I'm just, I could have believed last year based on what he was doing. Maybe if he had a better offensive line, he'd be better. But I just feel like you need somebody that gives you a little bit of thump, somebody that gives you a little bit of power. Yeah. And
I've never looked at Gaskins as a number one, but I love him as the backup back, as the third down back, as the complimentary guy.
This is a whole roster of third down backs.
Right. Oh, yes, you are correct. You are correct. But out of all of them, I like Gaskin the most out of all those guys. If we got, let's say your boy Najee Harris, I think he would have been a freaking terrific complimentary back to Najee Harris. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I like him. I vote him. I like his balance in traffic and all of that. I've talked about it before. But you're right. He's not a power runner. He's not going to bowl over people. But I think he would be a really good number two back. By the way, the name you mentioned, Riley, he had a nice game today, man. In a game where Scarlett is now out, and then you lose Brandon Jones, which Brandon Jones, makes some plays for you. Duke Riley was able to make some plays and help the defense out today. So that was cool.
Yeah. I think Duke has played, we're starting to see Duke kind of establish a role for himself, especially when they're facing athletic quarterbacks. So, next week, I don't know how they view Daniel Jones. He might play a little bit more next week. There's this 3 inside linebacker package that I actually like. I think it's kind of intriguing. It doesn't have, phenomenal elements to it, but it gives you so much speed and versatility, and those guys can drop back in coverage and cover. I like that.
Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly, and more importantly, catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel, and you can catch him here a couple times a week with the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Omar, as always, studly work. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
All right. Talk to you later, Big O.
You got it. There you go. Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins.
You've been listening to the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Report with Omar Kelly. For additions, home remodeling, or custom work, call Eric at 305-433-4843. EJDconstruction.com is the custom home builder and general contractor you can trust. 305-433-4843.
Smash the hell out of that like button. It is very, very important. Got 1,000 people on the chat board right now. Come on, man. Smash it. That is one of the most important things you'll do for us here in the Dolphin Nation. This will help the show grow. And don't forget to subscribe. We got to make a push for 10,000 subscribers. So we're a little over 2,000 away. So let's crank it up, baby. Let's do it. By the way, Brett Brescian reports that Miami Dolphin defense had an opponent passer rating of 13.4 today, which is the lowest mark in an NFL game this season. And we talked about in the pregame, make Cam a passer and you will succeed. Once in a blue moon, those guys will come on and they'll hit a few passes and you're like, damn, dude, today he actually was on. More often than not, the Lamar Jacksons, the Ryan Tannehills, the Cam Newtons of the world, you take away the running element from those guys and you force them to beat you from that pocket with their arms, and they're going to fail 80% of the time. Every once in a while, they'll get you because they're athletes, but they're not real quarterbacks. They're not pure passers. Okay? And that's the part I think that we have a lot of fans that they haven't gotten over that part, and they don't understand that Tua is a pure passer. And you are so enamored with the guy that's 6'5", and you're so in love with the guy that can throw it 100 miles an hour and 100 yards downfield, when that really doesn't necessarily make you a great quarterback. It's a tool you can use to help you be a great quarterback, but it will not make you a great quarterback. What makes you a great quarterback is intelligence. What makes you a great quarterback is deciphering quickly, making a decision real fast. What helps you is accuracy. What helps you is ball placement. What helps you is anticipation. All those elements are included in Tua's game. And when you go 27 of 31 with a bad offensive line and no running game, basically two receivers you can count on in Waddle and Gesicki, it's impressive. It's impressive. If this young man gets what he needs around him, he will be a star for the Miami Dolphins. Okay? Outside of durability, which is the only thing I'm ever concerned with Tua, they need to do the rest of the job around the young man and, hopefully surround him with the kind of talent that he needs. Don't forget, folks, that you can make a donation to the program, Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show, links right under us. If you're listening to the podcast at any time, Cash Big O Show at Cash App or Venmo if you want to get in on the program. Let's see. They gave us the late buy thinking it would hurt. Turns out buy is awesome this late now. You know what, Timothy? I don't think it's so much what you're saying that it's so awesome to have it now. It's just they weren't any good anyways at the beginning of the year. So having the bye week really wasn't going to help them. In the end, Flo made the wrong decision. You should have the bye week after Europe. But because you're such a bad team, it really didn't matter. So it kind of worked out for the Miami Dolphins because now's when they're playing their better football. But it's too late, unfortunately. But what are you going to do? Oh, who's faster, Waddle or you passing T-Rex part of the Hall of Fame? Oh, no, me. Passing T-Rex. Yes. Yeah, I decide on that a lot faster. Love the Tua sticker in the upper right-hand, LOL. I'm glad he played good. He's getting his confidence back game by game, and hopefully he can keep it up and get that vote of confidence next year. Let's hope so. He's doing good. I think he's confident. He may not be confident on things around him, but I think he's confident in his abilities overall. Tua doing it behind this sorry excuse of a line and in injured wide receivers makes him the man. He is a miracle worker. Manuel? All I can say is that I agree with you. I think he's doing a fantastic job under terrible situations, where I think a lot of young quarterbacks would fold El Tento in these situations. If I had Big O's job, I'd be Smiles. Big O looks like we lost by 40. We lost by 40. I don't know what that means. Am I being negative or something? All right. I guess I'm being negative. How the hell were we going to draft Harris? Who you give up, Waddle or Phillips? I'm just saying, if you get the running back, I get what you're saying, but I was just saying that if you get a running back, I love Gaskins. I would not get rid of Gaskin. I think Gaskin's a terrific player, but he's a number 2 back. He's a perfect number 2 back. That's the way I see Gaskin. When you put somebody out of place, they kind of get, a little exposed. And I think, although I will tell you this, even Gaskin could be pretty decent if you had some monsters up front that could put some people on their butts. Gaskin would actually be pretty solid. Now, is he going to be a great back? Well, no, probably not. But if you could get yourself a young great back and pair with Gaskin, I think it would be a fantastic 1-2 punch. That's just me. What happened to Duke Johnson? They didn't listen today, man. They didn't feel like they needed the pass catcher. They needed more of the runner. Duke Johnson's never been a good running back. He's a pass catching back. That's what he's always been. He's been a great career out of that. You don't really use Duke to run the ball. That's just the way it's turned out for his career. Bill Titus. Bill, there used to be a show called Titus. I don't know if you ever watched it. This guy's name, Titus, yeah. But it was just called Titus. Yeah, because the comedian was named Titus. Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. What was the name of the old guy that was in it? That he's Stacy Keach. Stacy Keach was in it. No, that was actually, it was like a dysfunctional family. And if you ever get to run into it, I thought it was actually funny. I thought it was a decent show. It was short-lived. Might have been only a season, I think, Titus. Maybe 2, and that's it. It was gone. 2 seasons? It was 2? Or 1.5 or something, right? Yeah, it was short, man. I enjoyed Titus. But, Bill, thank you for the super chat. He says, let's keep this party going. Amen to that, my brother. Amen to that. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the winning going. It doesn't get better than this to be able to win. I mean, I wish they could have done it earlier, and it would have meant more. And now we're, It's down at 3. Wow. Okay, 3 seasons. Wow, I didn't even think it lasted that long. I thought it was 1 to maybe 2. That's it. 3, I don't even. But man, it was a fun show. I enjoyed that show. That's one of those that when they cancel it, you're like pissed. Like, come on, dude. Why'd you do that?
I look up the first 3. It's Sex with Pudding, Dad is Dead, Dave Moves Out.
Yeah.
Those are the episodes.
Yeah. It was a good show. It was funny. I enjoyed it. I don't know if any of you actually watched Titus, but it was a good show. King of Queens, best show. It's a good show. There's no doubt about that. And obviously, she was always, easy on the eyes, as they say. I got so tired hearing about Tua being injury prone. That injury in Alabama could have ruined his career. Anyone else might have not been able to play again. If Miami wants to leave him, I don't know. Did you finish that, Michelle? Because I just stayed there, Michelle. I didn't say any more. I was waiting you to finish there. Yeah. But anyway, I think I know where you're going. And listen, injuries have been a part of his career, but he's tough as nails. The kid comes back. He finds a way to get back on the field. And he has shown that he is fearless overall, man. I am really, really impressed. Chris Greer is hitting on his draft picks today. Rosendo, he's been hitting on the draft picks for the last several weeks now. Okay, like I said, all of you out there that wanted to fire Chris Greer and the front office, you're all wrong now. Because all of the players are developing except the O-line. That's it. It's only the O-line. And we don't get to see Noah and Hunter because they've got players in front of them. That's it. Everyone else is developing. You were complaining about Jalen Phillips. He's developed. People were complaining about Brandon Jones. He's developed. Javon Holland is a freaking stud. Christian Wilkins has turned into a really good player. Jalen Waddle is a stud. Mike Gesicki is balling. Tua is playing well. It's really only the linemen, and that's because they have no coach. Because 2 or 3 of those linemen are going to end up being decent linemen. Not all of them are bad. If they're hitting on all the other players and they're all turning the corner, do you think really all 5 linemen are bad? It's terrible coaching. That's what's hurting this team. More than anything is not having a quarterback coach, not having an offensive coordinator, and not having an offensive line coach. You don't have that, it's impossible. It just makes it that much harder for everyone to succeed. So that all that stuff, as time has gone on, you're noticing that the players that were drafted are actually starting to develop, except in one specific area. Sad we might not keep Tua next year because I can't imagine how he can with this organization. Don't be surprised if Tua's here and the head coach isn't. I'm just saying. Don't be surprised. Big O, would you keep Greer? Do you listen to this show? I've never wavered at one moment at all on the front office. Front office is fine. Reggie McKenzie knows what the hell he's doing. Marvin Allen knows what he's doing. And Chris Greer knows what he's doing. Where Chris Greer and company screwed up is in the hiring of Flo. They hired a coach. They can't build a coaching staff. So through 3 years, you've made 7 changes at O-line and offensive coordinator. You don't know how to find one. You can't, like as I've said, I've made the example. You can't be a CEO of any company if you can't replace your managers when you lose them. You can't run the dealership down the street if you lose 2 of your top salespeople and you can't find 2 more. You can't be the owner of Sports Grill and lose your chef and not replace him with another chef that's just as good or better. That's what leaders do. And Flo technically is the leader. You know, Saban loses coaches all the time in Alabama. Belichick loses coaches all the time in New England. Andy Reid loses coaches all the time. But why are they good coaches or great coaches? Because they can find the next person to take over. They have the eye for that. Flo has failed in every way possible on offense. And when he got one guy that was decent, okay, which was Chan Gailey last year, and that offense had as many points since the Marino era. That's how many points the Dolphins scored last year. You have to go back to the Marino era. And Flo didn't keep him. And Greer's the one that gave him Fitz and Chan Gailey. And he got rid of both. He got rid of both for the 3-headed amigos, deciding every 40 seconds on what play to call. And he got rid of Fitz to bring in Brissett. So, you know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. And if you think next year Flo can find his offensive staff, you're on drugs. It's pretty simple. Rosendo says, Big O, you can't leave the Bird Road location next year to Doral until the Dolphins start losing. Bird Road is the lucky charm. All right, we'll do that. We'll do that. Even though I'm not the one that makes decisions, the owners of Sports School will decide where I broadcast from. I could be broadcasting from the trash compactor in the back. You know, you just never know. I mean, they might put me anywhere. Makes no sense to get a new head coach, and then what if he tears down the defense that Flo has built, and now the team is even worse? Actually, Kyle, that's what's going to change if I'm the front office. Where they failed was, and I think they'll learn their lesson, they failed by hiring Gase and giving him too much power in personnel when he didn't earn it. They hired Flo and gave him too much power in personnel. You got to hire your next coach, and you got to tell him what he needs to do. Okay? And he doesn't have the power in personnel. He can make a suggestion. And, hey, yeah, we got you. We'll think about it. We'll make the decisions. Okay? So that's what's got to happen. The next guy that comes in has to be able to build a staff and is not going to have the same kind of power in personnel, because that's been the problem with Flo, and that's been the problem with Gase. You had two guys that meddled way too much in personnel, and that's been a real big problem. Let's see, what else? Can't Chris Greer force Brian Flores to hire a new offensive coordinator? Humble, did you listen to what I just said? He gave him Chan Gailey. Are you listening to it? He needed an offensive coordinator because he can't find one. Well, Greer had a relationship with Gailey because the first year that Gailey was here, the first year that Greer was here, that's when Gailey was here. So he got to know Gailey, and that's how he brought Gailey back from the connections here. Okay? He brought him Fitz, but he went to with his guy Brissett that he had in New England. I'm trying to explain to all of you out there what's going on. I mean, he's the one that brings in Kyle Van Noy, and then he's the one that decides that wants to get rid of him. Do you think Chris Greer wants to take the cap hit and cut Kyle Van Noy after a year? Do you think Chris Greer wants to take the cap hit and cut Eric Flowers? No, of course not. That's all Flo, and that's been the problem here. Okay? So, I get it, man. I love the 4-game winning streak. I love what's going on, but let's not lose sight of what really is going on with this team and the issues they have. And let's not lose sight that Brian Flores has shown us over and over and over again that he can't get it done. You know what I mean? It's like you're waiting for Manny Diaz to coach a disciplined team. It's like, really? How long you gonna wait for that, dude? You gonna keep waiting for that? 4 O-line coaches in 3 years. Enough said. Flo can't hire quality offensive staff. Jean-Pierre is a downgrade from Marshall, DeGuglielmo, and Flattery. Yeah, especially DeGuglielmo. Let's see, what else do we have? We had 4 count 'em ways in week of that Buffalo game, and we got trounced and watched all 3 of the teams that could have lost, got us in, got on to win last year. Big O, what do you expect the rest of the season? How many games do you think we will win? I think they're going to win most of them. I will tell you that. I don't know about running the table because it's so hard to do that week in and week out for them to do that. I would love to see it, but maybe they lose a game or 2, maybe, no more than that. I think out of what's left. I don't think more than 1. I think the way they're playing, I think they're going to get tripped up somewhere, unfortunately. I don't know where it's at. We'll see from week to week. Maybe I keep thinking they'll win every week as we approach every damn week, because it's so hard to think that a team that lost 7 in a row is now going to go out and win 9 in a row. It's just hard to imagine that. Be sweet, but it's hard to imagine it. Benjamin says, Big O, please come off this. Flow is the problem crap, dude. The coaches, like players, need time to create an identity. Yes, too many changes, but it's finally turning into something. Where is it turning into something on offense, dude? I'm sorry, I must have missed that. Where's that turning into anything? I'm not sure what you're watching. Please give me a break. How about you not being so, blind ass fanish in all of this and look at what the hell's going on? Oh, man. The media said the Dolphins tried to keep DeGuglielmo, but he freaked because of what the front office did to O'Shea. Front office didn't do anything to O'Shea, dude. It's the head coach is the one that's firing and hiring those people. It has nothing to do with front office. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Front office doesn't. The front office can make a suggestion of Flo, but he hires and fires all his coaches, and he controls that. They gave him control of the 53. There are things that I know that I can't even say. It's a sad part. I love what you do, and so do we all. Let's get a funding campaign to get your remote access to badass Wi-Fi, not rely on your venues. Your fans can get it to you for Xmas. Who's in? I guess it's been choppy today a little bit, and we're on hardline, right? That's weird. Normally on hardline it doesn't happen. It didn't happen last week. What happened?
They're saying something's wrong with the internet in the area, so it's going in and out.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that could happen anywhere then.
Yeah.
Because it didn't happen last week. We were fine. Right? Last couple of weeks we were on hardline and it was fine.
Yeah, it's better in the morning. It seems like in the evening.
Okay.
The post game.
All right. Tua Tagovailoa, that dude. That's what Kobe says. I would go with that. All right, folks, it is time to wrap it up here on the show. We got to thank, of course, the legend that is Sean Stanley. We thank all of you out there for tuning in. As always, supporting. Please smash the hell out of the like button. It is incredibly important that you smash that like button and subscribe. Help us get to 10,000 subscribers. Very important plateau for the show. So please help us get there. I appreciate all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Remember, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're going to be having a little bit of a different times for the show. Then on Thursday and Friday, we'll be back in the mix. I'll be in Cleveland for 2 days to go see Genesis and go have some fun. And then I'll be back rocking and rolling Thursday and Friday. So appreciate all of you out there. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. You all be good. Much love out there. Dolphins get it done, baby. 33-10.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show.